The lecture hall of the Galactic Institute fell silent as Professor Zexter projected the holographic images above the amphitheater. Hundreds of alien students from dozens of species leaned forward, their various sensory organs fixed on the terrifying figures materializing in the air. These, the professor announced, his translator implant converting his clicks and whistles into standard galactic, are the legendary war gods of the forbidden sectors, ancient beings of immeasurable power who once carved through entire star systems, leaving nothing but silence in their wake. Elena sat in the back row, stifling a laugh. The human exchange student had been at the Institute for 3 months, and this wasn't the first time the galactic curriculum had hilariously mangled Earth history. The tallest figure on the hologram, wielding what appeared to be primitive kinetic weapons, was said to be a destroyer of armies. Legends claimed he could survive any environment, consume any poison, and his battle cry could shatter mountains. Ina squinted at the grainy image. The timestamp in the corner read, Earth, circa 1944. She pulled out her datapad and ran it through the facial recognition software she'd been building. 3 seconds later, she had a match. Her hand shot up. Yes, Humanina. Professor Zexter's eye stalk swiveled toward her with evident reluctance. The human student had a habit of correcting his carefully researched lectures. That's not a war god, Professor. That's my Uncle Bob. The lecture hall erupted in a chorus of shocked chirps, whistles, and electromagnetic pulses of disbelief. Zexter's carapace flushed an indignant purple. The war gods existed millennia before your species achieved spaceflight. These images were recovered from surveillance drones sent to monitor pre-contact civilizations. Elena stood, projecting her own hologram from her datapad. Yeah, about 78 years ago, to be exact. That's my great-great-uncle Robert McCarthy. He was a Marine at Ioima. She swiped through images. Uncle Bob at a family barbecue, holding her as a baby, at his 98th birthday party last year. The resemblance was undeniable, but the legends? Another professor sputtered from the faculty section. The tales of these beings spread across 100 worlds. Warriors who could endure temperatures that would vaporize most species, needed minimal sustenance, and regenerated from grievous wounds. Well, yeah, Elena shrugged. Humans are tough. Uncle Bob served in the Pacific Theater during World War II. Extreme heat, limited supplies, combat injuries. That was just Tuesday for those guys. Your relative survived a military conflict? Asked Adam, a human from the engineering track who had just walked in late. Yeah, Elena said. And he's still alive. Adam glanced at the hologram and snorted. Is that Bob McCarthy? My grandpa served with him. He's not a war god. He's a retired plumber from New Jersey who complains about his knees. Professor Zexter's translator struggled to process the concept of New Jersey. You mean to tell me, the professor said slowly, that the beings we've studied for decades, whose exploits are carved into monuments across 6 worlds, are just ordinary humans? Ordinary, Adam interjected. World War II vets are extraordinary. But yeah, they're just people who did what needed to be done. A crystalline student raised a prismatic appendage. But the records show they fought without personal shield generators, without plasma weapons. They used chemical propellant ballistic weapons and wore fabric for protection. That tracks, Elena confirmed. They didn't have fancy tech, just grit, determination, and really bad coffee, according to Uncle Bob. And they survived. Not all of them, Adam whispered. A lot didn't come home. That's why the ones who did matter so much. The lecture hall fell into contemplative silence. Professor Zexter slowly lowered his teaching appendage. I need to revise my entire thesis, he muttered. He looked at the images with new understanding. These weren't gods. They were mortal beings who achieved legendary status through courage alone. If it helps, Elena added with a grin, Uncle Bob would be thrilled to know aliens think he's cool. He's always said his best days were behind him. This'll go in his Christmas card. Your uncle is still alive? A methane breather gasped, their suit fogging in shock. Yes, Elena said proudly. 78 solar cycles old. He still does his own yard work. Adam pulled up his datapad. Professor, if you want to talk to actual war veterans, the Earth delegation is hosting a military history panel next month. Vets from every major conflict since World War II. My grandpa's giving a talk on the Korean War. Zexter's carapace slowly shifted from purple to thoughtful blue. Human students, would your Uncle Bob be willing to speak to my class? Elena grinned. I'll call him tonight, but I should warn you. He'll spend at least 20 minutes showing you pictures of his garden tomatoes. I find that acceptable, the professor said with quiet dignity as the class dissolved into excited chatter. Adam leaned over. Your uncle is going to love this. Oh, absolutely, Elena laughed. Wait until he hears there are monuments to him on 6 worlds. Mom's never going to hear the end of it. Somewhere in New Jersey, Uncle Bob sneezed while watering his tomatoes, completely unaware that he was considered a mythical war god across a quarter of the galaxy. He'd probably just complained that the aliens didn't bring beer, but that was humans for you, legendary, and they didn't even know it. Please follow my channel for more videos. One click from you can change my life.